Muhammad, they were different. We talked about the Qurans at the time of the companions of Muhammad, they were different.
Yep.
We talked about modern Qurans and they are all different.
This woman travels to Africa, collects various Qurans, comes back to England where she's stationed, and then her and her team peruse these Qurans. There are differences, there are wholesale contradictions in the Quran, like in Surah 3 verse 146 is a common one, where one Quran says fought and one Quran says killed about the Prophet. And if you're reading them in different countries, that person in country A thinks it's the Quran, that verse says killed because it says killed. The prophets were killed. Well, if that person in country B, who doesn't have any connection with country A, reads it as they fought, they fight, then you can't say these two are saying the same thing when you start now have that Quran and that Quran, meaning you have one half Quran and one of the washed Quran, and the half one is the one that is dominant around the world. So they strategically knew that if the Quran that is 95% the half version, and that's the problem, you say the Quran. So once you make the statement, the Quran, it gives the appearance there's one Quran. No, when you say the Quran, you're meant to say additionally what version. Because the people in Ghana, Nigeria, and Morocco are not reading the version in Egypt or Turkey or England or the USA. The people in Ghana and Nigeria and Morocco, they're reading the wash particular Quran. And that has different texts and different statements in there from the common version that is read throughout 95% of the Muslim world, like we said, in Turkey, in Russia, in England, in the USA. So now when you get these Qurans together, because there's others in Africa, like the Buri, like the Kulun that Hetet mentioned, Hatim Tash collected 37 of them. He goes to Speaker's Corner, and then she lays it on them as an advocate for Jesus. And remember, this woman was stabbed. You can go look up the video. She was horrendously stabbed by a Muslim demon, and the Muslim community tried to say this wasn't a Muslim. So what the heck would he be attacking her? If she's just promoting to say, you know what, you got different Qurans, they're all contradictory as well, then why would somebody attack her? They're attacking her because she's highlighting the problem. There's 37 of them, and she's saying, well, look at this verse and compare it to this verse. So she is the one who started the ball rolling, a woman, braver than all these men. Go look her up. Go look at when she was stabbed, literally. She could have been killed. She took time out. I actually contacted her literally to say how she's doing, because it touched me so much to say, look at this woman, like a one, I ain't gonna say man army, a one woman army out there, Speaker's Corner, London, massive park where people battle on doctrine. She run things, she ain't got no protection, right? And that's why she was stabbed, because she's doing the advocating of Jesus and burying their Quran by saying your Quran cannot be preserved to say that all of your Qurans are the same. You got to catch this. When the average Muslim is taught, they're taught there's only one Quran and they're all the same. They don't even have to say it. Why? Go back to the statement. The Quran. The Quran. Hear it? The Quran. When you say the Quran, you're not talking about any others. So if you're taught the Quran, the average Muslim doesn't know there are other versions of the Quran. So this means when Ashton Tash came back with those Qurans from Africa and the East and started unleashing them in Speaker's Corner, this started the dismantling of Islam by Islam. Why? Because the majority of the people were hearing this, including Muhammad Hijab. They never knew that there were other versions of the Quran. Why? Because they taught the Quran. You're learning the Quran. The Quran. You're not told that there were different Quran, because only in scholarly circles they then discuss about why there are different Qurans, and that's when you start getting to hear the terms Afruf and Kirat. The average Muslim doesn't know what an Afruf is and doesn't know what a Kirat is. They don't know there's different Kirat, which is the way you pronounce the Quran. And they don't know what an Afruf is, and nobody knows what Afruf is because the stupid prophet called Muhammad mentioned something called Afruf and never explained it. And I'm not meant to say that's stupid. If you've got 40 scholarly opinions by the experts of Islam who are debating what the Afruf is, you shouldn't be debating and putting your opinion. You know why you shouldn't be debating and putting your opinion and why you're all stupid? Because the very prophet you follow didn't explain it. And if he didn't explain it, then he didn't want you to know, and then Allah didn't want you to know. Because he would have explained it. He wouldn't just say, oh, the Quran came down in 7 Afruf, and then explain what does that mean. It means letter. It means style. It means mode. It means dialect. All of these don't mean anything to you. You've given a word that you don't mean by your own prophet and refuse to admit your prophet was stupid. Or is it really that he was stupid, or that you have clandestine Muslim Arab demons who set this religion up? And in reality, had nothing to do with Muhammad. These people are writing on behalf of Muhammad as if it's Muhammad. And it's littered throughout the hadith where they've attributed things that Muhammad did this and Muhammad said that. And it's obviously men wrote this. You want me to give you an example? Let me read you one. Abu Hurairah, Allah be pleased with him, reported, Allah's messenger, may peace be upon him, as saying, when a man invites his wife to his bed and she does not come, and he, the husband, spends the night being angry with her, the angels curse her until the morning. You're saying that angels and Allah are looking at the bedroom business of you and your wife, and when she says, I don't feel like having sex tonight, right? The man is vexed by it, and the angels are vexed with the woman until the morning. What kind of stupidness is this we're talking about? If she is healthy in Islam, she has no right to refuse the man's sex under any circumstance. Yes, Tadu will back me up on this. Sheikh Asim and all the scholars will say that's what it means. No woman cannot say they don't feel like it. If they're healthy, they must have sex with a man. What kind of rubbish and stupidness is that? That's not coming from Muhammad. Those are weak, wicked men who want to control women for sex. So the covert operators of Islam who put this thing together, put out ridiculous hadiths like this, and then you don't even think the angels of the heavens are looking in your bedroom business? That's what they're doing? And they're angry with the woman because I don't really feel like I'm not up to it tonight. She can't have an independent emotion to show how evil and wicked, manipulative these demon men are. And every man who subscribes is a damn idiot, because a woman has a free will, a free emotion, and she don't feel like giving up her. How then do you have the right to say, well, you know what, Allah is against you, the angels are against you? No, those are simply stories written by weak men. No Allah, no true God is going to manipulate you with his own words and say, you know, you better go and have sex with him because you're not ill. Go and have sex with him. No, those are simply men. It's no different from setting up, what they call it, escort agencies and prostitution or brothels, because men are sex fanatics. So moving on, and we was talking about Hatun Tash. She comes over. She starts to dismantle Islam personally. Now the difference would be she has a team of people who scrutinize all these Qurans from, let's give you an example. I scrutinize version 1 against version 2, version 2 against version 3, version 1 against version 3, version 1 against version 20, version 20 against version 2. Do you understand what we're going? Up until 37. And then you come up with thousands and thousands and thousands of differences that you cannot say that the Quran was perfectly preserved, letter by letter, word by word, without any variance between them, because you're holding the variance in your hand. So then what you come up with? The people don't know that, but we covered that. We're talking about the clandestine operatives now, because we say, yes, we know all about that. The Quran came down in 7 Afruf to accommodate different dialects of that time, because the people spoke different dialects. So they're all, the people in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, speak a slightly different dialect from the people in Spanish Town, Jamaica, right? Or the people in Liverpool speak slightly different from the people in London. They use certain different words. So we accommodate that in our Quran, right? But where does that fall down? If that was true, and this is how you know it's all made up. If the Quran came down in 7 Afruf to accommodate the different dialects and the different modes of speech people spoke in, right? Where is that statement in the Quran itself? You put it in the Hadith and say, like you put it in Mishkat al-Masiba, right? Number 2215. That's one of the Hadiths, right? I'll say it again. Mishkat al-Masiba. I'm not an Arabic speaking person, so my pronunciation is not going to be accurate, but I'm saying it in the English tone. Mishkat al-Masiba, number 2215, where it is written that Muhammad was told, and he's talking about his people cannot handle one dialect. And then Michael, the angel, says to Gabriel, now step it up, man, step it up. Don't just give him in one, step it up until it reaches 7. That's a Hadith. But check it. All those accounts about the 7 Aruf, none of it is in the revelation of the Quran itself. Wouldn't that be in the Quran itself to say, you know what? We realize, Muhammad, that the people could not handle one dialect, your dialect, the Quraysh. So we revealed it in 7 Aruf. It's not in the Quran. That just makes you know it's stupid. It makes you know that all those accounts came about after the Quran was revealed, because it would be in the Quran. And like I said in a dynamic video that will come out, right, that if the very person who wrote the Quran for Muhammad, Zayd ibn Thabit, who wrote it twice for Abu Bakr after Muhammad's death, and then for Uthman, he wrote it, he never mentions about 7 Afruf. He's the number 1 writer. How does he not mention something that is so paramount? But don't forget, why is it not in the Quran itself if the Quran came down in different styles, different modes, different dialects, so that you'd have different versions? No. So what happened is the people, because they thought what? The Quran. So when Hatun Tash comes out with all these Qurans and speakers comment, they are mash up. Some of them leave Islam immediately. People are in disarray. Muhammad Hijab is on video waving the people away from Hatun Tash because he didn't know what to do. So he's smart and says, come from her, move from her, move from her, move from her, move. So they all moved away from her. Then what does he do? He says, you know what? Shh. Let me call up. I know Yasser Qadhi, right? Then he invites Yasser Qadhi on the show to clean it up. And it doesn't work.
Yeah, okay, so let's leave it at that. It's not gonna be the exact Hafs